Deep within the misty mountains, an ancient pottery workshop stands still, where the morning light barely touches the cold gray mounds of waiting clay. A young apprentice works with trembling hands, his fingers scarred from years of labor, desperately trying to shape a vision of absolute unyielding perfection. Suddenly, a tiny hairline fracture appears on the surface. Panic surges through his heart as he quickly rubs it away with water and shaking fingers. In the silence of the workshop, incense smoke curls upward, contrasting with the heavy tension radiating from the young man's rigid and anxious posture. Behind him, in the shadows, lies a graveyard of shattered dreams, broken pots that were discarded simply because they failed to meet his impossible standards. Have you ever trapped yourself in a prison called perfection? You hide your flaws, fearing they prove weakness, but this denial is suffocating your soul. As night falls, the obsession takes hold. Because of one microscopic flaw, he prepares to destroy hours of soul-pouring work in a fit of despair. The sound of breaking ceramic echoes like a scream. We often shatter our own progress just because it isn't flawless, forgetting that growth requires pressure. In psychology, the obsession with perfection is a defense mechanism of the ego. We fear judgment, believing that if we aren't perfect, we aren't worthy. We act like a climber on a slippery peak, wearing polished shoes and refusing to grab the jagged rocks because we are terrified of getting dirty. The weight of expectation becomes a mountain of ice. We forget that without those cracks, the light of our true selves can never shine through. This rejection of our humanity creates a hollow shell. We become so focused on the absence of errors that we lose the presence of life. But in the deepest darkness, a different path emerges. It is the path of those who see beauty not in a smoothness, but in the history. The master arrives not to scold, but to show. He picks up the broken pieces that the apprentice threw away, treating them like precious jewels. He prepares a mixture of lacquer and real gold dust. This is the heart of Kintsugi, the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with precious gold. With infinite patience, he paints the wounds of the ceramic. He doesn't try to hide the break. Instead, he illuminates it for the world. The workshop transforms. The cold blue of despair is replaced by the warm amber of creation. Every crack is being turned into a story. Kintsugi teaches us that these cracks don't diminish value, they create history. When you accept your scars, you don't just heal, you become radiant. The young man watches as his failures are transformed. He realizes that perfection is a static illusion, but growth is a dynamic, scarred masterpiece. The object is now stronger than it was before it broke. Its scars are now its most beautiful feature, catching the light at every angle. He whispers that a life without struggle is like a pot that has never seen the fire, fragile, plain, and lacking the character of experience. By touching the gold, he touches the truth. His failures weren't mistakes to be erased, but opportunities to add value through resilience and art. This philosophy extends beyond pottery. It is the law of life. The most beautiful things grow from the places where the world is broken. Take your broken pieces and give them to the fire of your will. Decorate your setbacks with the gold of your courage and wisdom. Why is perfection a trap? Scientifically, it stops neuroplasticity. When we refuse to make mistakes, our brains stop building the new connections necessary for growth. When you allow yourself to be imperfect, you unlock the growth mindset. You stop performing for others and start learning for your own soul's expansion. Cracks are where experience takes hold. They are the entry points for empathy, allowing us to connect with the shared suffering of all humanity. The straight line is the shortest distance, but the jagged path is where the scenery is. Perfection is a destination, but growth is a journey. Don't fear being shattered by life, fear remaining so untouched and perfect that you become brittle and frozen in time, unable to change. The sun rises on a new understanding. Every wound you carry is a badge of survival, a golden thread in the tapestry of who you are. Your hands may be dirty and your heart may be scarred, but those are the marks of a life truly lived, not just observed. Life doesn't happen despite the cracks, it happens because of them. The crack is how the seed breaks open to become the mighty oak. A gallery of imperfections is more beautiful than a hall of identical clones. Diversity of experience is what makes the human spirit so breathtaking. Freedom comes when you stop trying to be correct and start being authentic. The trap of perfection is finally broken by the power of self-acceptance. Let your heart break open. It is only through the opening that the light can reach the depths of your being and illuminate your path. Wisdom is knowing that everything is cracked, and that is exactly how it should be. We are all works in progress, forever under the master's hand. You do not need to be perfect to be a masterpiece. You only need to be honest about your journey and brave enough to show your scars. Be patient with your healing. It takes time to turn pain into gold, but the result is a resilience that can never be broken again. The horizon is wide for those who aren't afraid to fail. Step out of the cage of perfection and breathe in the air of possibility. Now, he becomes the teacher. He shows the next generation that their mistakes are not ends, but beginnings of something far more valuable. Compassion flows where the cracks are. By sharing our flaws, we give others permission to be human, creating a world of true connection. The workshop is no longer a place of tension, but a sanctuary of transformation. Every soul here is learning to gild their own history. Look closely at your own life. Those moments that broke you were actually the moments that allowed you to become more than you ever imagined. You are a Kintsugi creation, unique in all the universe. Your value is not in your smoothness, but in how you rose from the dust. Embrace the cracks. Wear your gold with pride. For in the end, the most beautiful souls are the ones that have been beautifully broken.